Hello everybody and welcome back to eUnited taking on compLexity. We are here for map number 2 where eUnited will be starting out on the counter-terrorist side as compLexity, looking to attack early on as we move into the pistol round, have bought up 4 pieces of armor and Def with 2 pieces of utility. It's a smoke and a Molotov. My name is Mitch. I'll be taking you through this series, but I'm not alone. On the mic with me is the gorgeous Dean Brown.
Yeah, map 2 now, Mitch. That first one was a pretty close affair the entire time. We didn't really know what way it was gonna actually go until it came to the end, of course. And I expect us to have another pretty close game here indeed. It's a strong map for compLexity, of course, with it being their map choice. But eUnited are actually definitely capable of playing it, so you certainly cannot count them out of it. But let's see, early on compLexity, of course, starting off on this T side with it being their map choice. eUnited decide they want to go for the CT side. And early on, some mid-control being found. Just that smoke towards top connector to allow for them to actually make their way up in through short. And of course, a couple players out through the apartments as well. And pretty much immediately, Vanity ends up falling. And the nearest player then being Cooper and Kitchen can't really do much to stop that bomb from going down.
With the B attack underway, I mean, Cooper's at least going to fall... find Oboe, make sure he falls after the opening duel. But it's trading back and forth at this point that makes it a little bit worrying for the CT side. Luckily, Food's able to break the cycle by taking down Shazam. Moose coming up behind, hasn't been heard somehow. Stampeding towards short. The bullets were obviously deafening Def. As Marky pushes up close with the USP, Ricky's in a bit of danger because there's 2 players swinging in on him. And it will be a defuse for the CT side. To close out the pistol round, eUnited started off well here.
Yeah, they really do. Looking to try and carry over the performance that they had back on Nuke, of course. The momentum from actually picking up that win also is something that they do want to carry over. But compLexity, it looks like they're going to be going for a force buy in here. Not so surprisingly. I mean, they've been going for it so far from what we've seen. They've done it in the previous map, I believe. Both halves after losing out early on, even if it wasn't initially to that pistol. But yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. A couple of AKs available, like Galil, 2 Deagles as well. Some utility that also gives them the chance for a bit of an execute, which is what they are going to be setting themselves up for towards that A-bomb site. And with the current setup from eUnited, I mean, 1 smoke towards jungle, 1 towards the steps could completely isolate them from actually being able to do anything at all.
The Molotovs and Palace stop them completely. They've just got to chill out a little bit. As eventually they start to push on forward. You're looking towards Def. He's still outside B. He's going to start rotating down through underpass, but he's going to be very late to the party. As the push eventually comes in, nice nade by Cooper, takes down Sick. As they push on forward, AK in the hands of Shazam's going to be taken open and contact on stairs, but the timing doesn't work out well for him at all. Flash over the top, and they'll be able to cross over with that bomb now, but it's taking their time a little bit. They've got to be cautious of a peek towards the top of stairs now. The smoke doesn't really block them off. And Vanity obviously going to be able to do quite a lot from CT if they leave him unchecked. Swinging out 1 kill on the board. Low HP on Shazam is quickly dispatched, and it's into a 4v2. 4v1.
Yeah, which isn't going to last too long. I mean, Oboe gets 1, so it does turn into a 1v3 pretty much instantly, and then eventually he gets finished off there by those SMGs just spamming away Cooper to go ahead and get that little bit of extra money for himself, and also upgrades to an AK, of course. Coming into this one now, it is going to have to be that full eco from compLexity, so we don't really expect them to be able to get a lot done. We'll see if some SMGs perhaps do also remain in play for eUnited. But a pause coming through. I imagine that this is probably just a technical pause. I don't think a tactical would be called out by either side this early. Especially for compLexity, considering they aren't going to be buying into this round either way, unless they're considering some sort of strange buy, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, you have to assume it's going to be a technical at this point. Early on. Let's take a look at the pings. Oh, we don't need to. Everybody's good. Yeah, it's not too bad there. eUnited playing around 50. It's definitely workable. So up 2-0 with the weaker buy from compLexity, only featuring a couple of Deagles in play. Well, let's be accurate. Couple Deagles and a P250. You're not seeing all too much upgraded from them, and so kills should be fairly scarce and hard to come by. It's going to see a hefty engagement from Vanity. That flashbang, even though it blinds him, saves his life as he bails down, actually makes it away on 11 HP.
Yeah, and in the end, then Moose just going to hunt down the final player, being Ricky. So, eUnited with a very clean round. That's exactly what they needed. They're keeping everyone alive. All 5 players survive. Vanity will end up taking an MP9 over into this round. I think he just swapped with a teammate right there. Willing to be the one that's on that weaker weapon, especially considering he has a window spawn. So off the back of this, it wouldn't be surprising if he decides to drop out and push through underpass, maybe even push up mid. And it seems like that is indeed where he's going to be taking this. He's going to find a little bit of opposition though, because compLexity do want to fight for this mid control early on. Vanity going through under alongside Cooper, I believe that is. They find so much info towards B early on. The only issue is they've lost that full mid control, as we can of course see on that radar. Cooper's the one that's going to go back and see if he can actually get something done. They're not being cautious of it, so he will be able to pounce and catch Def off guard.
Yeah, but Cooper on another opening duel. And Moose following through on more. Things are looking pretty good. Oh, but Obo and Sick managed to pull it back into a 3v3. I mean, a well-fought battle early on for compLexity, pulling it back from the depths of despair. eUnited now have got a little bit of info to play with, but as Vanity takes his fight, he's at a disadvantage. It doesn't matter. Takes down Sick on 5 HP. He's going to be able to fall back, sit down towards the B bomb side, and he can even jump peek for info here and still be very useful, even despite his low HP.
Yeah, definitely still could be, just for the pure info play over towards B if it's needed. He is, of course, holding that smoke ready to drop it if he spots out Obo, who is the one pushing in this direction. Ricky, though, over on A, needs to serve as at least some form of a distraction. I think ideally, though, would like to be able to rotate over and help his teammates, so could potentially creep up through jungle. I mean, that position isn't being watched. Currently, eUnited have taken a bit of a gamble where they do have both players in towards CT. The issue is, I believe, Food is at least spotting that CT flank, so he'd be able to spot anyone trying to get in towards Kitchen. So it is going to come down to Obo to actually go ahead and find this kill, and then with that, Ricky would be in a great position to cut off the rotation. The only issue is 12 seconds now for Obo. He needs to go forward and quickly dispatch a Vanity. Ricky actually did make his way across in the kitchen as well. So suddenly it's a 2-on-2 with that bomb being planted.
Flash goes through. Ricky's still in position, and they haven't spotted him or thought about him. So Marky's left alone. No utility. He has got a kit to play with, but he has to find both of these kills in order to pull this off. Even in spite of how unlikely it looks, he still wants to go for it and comes out, takes Ricky down. But the trade is there from Obo, finding a 2-piece in the round and connecting one for compLexity at last. You got to put a lot of the reward though towards Ricky, as he played really well towards Kitchen, coming in on the flank and then holding that position to catch them off guard on the retake.
Yeah, and you see, of course, now it is going to be a pretty solid investment, I suppose, still available for compLexity. The only issue is, with the UMP and the Galil being in play, also not a lot of utility rather actually available for them. And then being up against that op, not having one of their own, it is going to be a pretty difficult round for them overall. I'm just kind of splitting out for a default currently. 2 players over towards the B apartments. They already have one actually crossed over towards mid as well. The bomb, for now, kind of just hanging back, yet to make a decision about where they want to take it, of course. But it does now begin to kind of favor over towards the spawn. Still plenty of time. The question is, what are they really looking to try and do here? It seems like they are just hoping that someone from eUnited is going to get aggressive and give them a chance for a frag to come true. And I mean, we've seen that aggression in the previous round. It just doesn't seem like eUnited are going to go for it this time around.
Well, compLexity late on want to make their way down mid, but they weren't conscious of the boost, so Obo loses 50 HP on the way through. Food's picking up one, and there's a second. Now able to back off, drops the smoke to try and keep himself alive, but the fight's going to be forced out by Def. Even with that pick, though, Def's going to find an ace. He's in a 1 versus 4. Bomb under his control at least, but they're spamming him away. Luckily, no shots being connected just yet. A nade picked up by Vanity, surely to be deployed. There it is. It's alright, just a scratch. But right afterwards, a couple more scratches going to be applied. And so it's 4-1 eUnited coming through on their CT side, winning out that round and putting compLexity back down into the depths of their economy. And they're going to be able to scrape together a couple of pistols, but I don't expect anything past that. Not even a piece of armor to make an appearance.
Unfortunately, not really able to afford to purchase up anything else. I mean, they have a couple of flashes at least, so they could use those to maybe catch a couple players off guard. Looking to try and bring it on towards B, though, without that Kevlar already. A nade comes into the apartments, and absolutely obliterates the health of 2 of the players. Obo then trying to lead the charge, gets picked off by the op of Cooper, and at this point they've just been slowed down in the B apartments and are getting picked off 1 by 1, or make that 2 at a time in the case of Vanity's nade coming in and cleaning up Ricky and Shazam. Not a single point of damage being dealt to eUnited in that round, keeping all 5 players alive, and of course building themselves up some good economy in the reserve now. But compLexity coming back onto a buy of their own. Shazam should have the op this time around as well.
compLexity seem to be big fans of heading towards that B side. Early on, they've hit it a majority of the time, and their A was a little bit staggered. I think they even set up for B early on, didn't find anything, and then just rushed straight through middle. There's Cooper down aggressive in mid, catches one. The shot not going to be there. Shazam just jumps out in the open and takes him down. Finding that trade back into a 4v4. They've already pushed out of A. Food has no idea that they're up close to him in Sandwich, and Food not going to come up on top in the engagement. A Sandwich position takes down Food. It's a 2v3. Low HP on Sick. Ricky's just been eliminated. And the eUnited are back ahead with Vanity about to catch Sick off up close, leaving it all down to Shazam on the op. Not an easy weapon to fight back in a 1v3 with. Because getting off that many bullets in time is going to be difficult.
Yeah, he does manage to find the first shot, at least on towards Vanity. Still pinned up in the palace pretty much. It's going to be tough. There is also a player coming around into ramp that should hear the steps now that are going back. So that info should be called over, and as you can see now, Moose is ready to go ahead and hold this one down. Is Shazam going to expect this quick flank? Apparently not. Moose going to be there to go ahead and finish it off, and with that now, eUnited leading 6-1. They're off to a hot start here on Mirage. I did say that I think they could definitely have a chance here on Mirage to take this series 2-0, but I didn't expect them to start it off so dominantly. Right now, compLexity not really able to get anything at all. And again, are going to be put down into a weaker investment. A double scout setup here on the T side for Def and Sick. This is interesting. This isn't something you see very often in Mirage. You don't even really see that T side scout in general too often. In just the 1, let alone 2.
Yeah, we talked about the double scout setup when you lose the pistol being something that's quite prevalent, but on the T side, it's not a usual appearance. Where are they actually playing with it? Hold on, we got Def towards B and Sick mid, so at least they're not both playing in middle, which would have been a little bit crazier. You're going to do a 4v4, the low HP on both Def and Obo. So there's certainly a lot of potential now for eUnited to close this out and save quite a lot of weapons over. And compLexity need to get economic damage on the board and force some reinvestment. Really, I need to see like 2 more kills coming through for them with the weapons that they've currently got. That is definitely viable.
The issue is right now, Food has a pretty good position here to just go ahead and at least take 1 player. Ideally, though, he does need to find a little bit more. A couple of them already tagged up as well. They peek it together and just line up for the M4. Without the Kevlar, it's an easy spray down indeed. Ricky now on the steps needs to find this frag on the Cooper to give them any sort of hope at all of at least finding that bomb plant. But it's not going to be an easy one. He is given a bit of a chance to peek out onto Food towards the ramp. The issue is his teammate drops beforehand, so it leaves him in a 1-on-3 now. Cooper on the up, holding the angle. We'll go ahead and finish that one off. 7-1. eUnited just continuing to extend this lead. Although that round, of course, wasn't the full investment from compLexity. So as they come back onto the full buy now, this is where we really hope that they'll be able to pick things up a little bit.
Vanity and Cooper again having pretty decent starts to the game. But Food's been impressive there on that ramp hold in particular. Just shut down any chance of compLexity getting decent damage done. At this point you can see eUnited have got the cash to work with if they lose this round. And so it's much more difficult for compLexity to mount a comeback. At least they're not being reset. It's the one upside of things. You kind of see that the benefit of the economy system we're rolling with right now. I mean, if this was the old ecosystem, compLexity would be in a much, much worse spot. Having lost that 1 round, their economy would be in the gutter. And so certainly a little bit more to be. And then also, even if you look at the situation right now, if compLexity won this round and lost the next, which is possible with eUnited having the economy stacked up, in this half would already be eUnited's. And you don't want it being defined that early on. With a couple buy rounds in their favor, eUnited continue on looking dominant in them. 2 opening duels go their way as compLexity get a bomb plant eventually. But they've lost 2 players forward, and even with Food being lit down pretty low, that may not deter the CTs at all.
Yeah, they definitely still want to try and go for this one. Moving in quickly, though, will be the way that they have to do it. Obo already on low HP. Death close to the CT. Will actually be able to find himself a quick double kill. Swings on the Cooper, and actually Obo in the background ended up going down to that as well. They must have lined up somehow. The issue is now the bomb planted on default doesn't really leave Ricky with any sort of chance to actually hold this down. He has to just give it up, back away. Will at least be able to survive. But eUnited just continuing to build this lead up. A Krieg being saved over the bomb plant at least went down, so they will be able to buy again, of course, on the complexity side. But you can see that they realize at this point that it's certainly getting out of hand for them, because a pause has come through. They're going to be discussing exactly what they want to do. The op available once again. They have pretty much everything they could ask for in this buy. But they just need to start picking up round wins. No one really fragging very well either. You can see everyone sitting on either 3 or 4 for complexity, and that's as we head on to the 10th round.
Yeah, it's a huge shift from what we saw on the previous map. I mean, although obviously we saw eUnited looking very strong in it, you have to take a look at complexity. They had Obo nearly on 30 kills on Nuke, 21 on Shazam as well. He was working really well with the AWP. At the moment, they're definitely paling in comparison to their performance in the previous map. And it's time to start getting those rounds on the board, like you said. I mean, it's no longer a point where you can say, oh, they're managing the... Oh, no, that's not the way to do it. Obo falls at the hand of Ricky, and then Ricky doesn't even follow through with the kill. As Moose walks away on 7 HP, it's still an advantage to work with. Marky opens it up even further. The Molotov stops Sick from pushing forward and trading. And this round is just completely dissolved.
It's just fallen apart horribly. That team kill started a spiral out of control. As you said, unfortunately, they weren't able to follow it up on at least getting that frag to equalize after the team kill. So it's just instantly a 5-on-3. Sick on low HP right now. Shazam is the only one that's looking healthy to try and get this done. But Sick, he is leading the way. Seeing if he can maybe take down one and get a bit of info about where these players are positioned to give Shazam a better opportunity. Oh, but they should be spotted in just a moment. Good playing from the van. Pops up, sees the barrel of Shazam after already taking down Sick. He will eventually fall. So Shazam giving himself a little bit of a chance by connecting that shot, but there's just 40 seconds remaining, and the bomb's still yet to be retrieved. As he goes for it, he steps out into the open, and Moose is there to finish it off. 9-1. Again, they take a fairly dominant round. I mean, keeping 3 players alive, it's not like complexity have been doing very much damage at all. Finding 1 to 2 kills most of the time, but that's not really enough.
Now, 1 or 2 kills, I mean, it can do it for you when you eventually come through with a round early on, but eUnited have built up the bank, and they're already 9 on the board. At this point, complexity need to have a shutout of a final section, final quarter. As Food takes the opening, that's not the way to go. A Sick falls to... Shazam and Ricky managed to trade back. They have lost Obo early on as one of their major fraggers, but even still they managed to get the bomb down in a position that isn't terrible for them. Great shots by Ricky. He's going to swing for more, but he doesn't suspect Marky to be up close in jungle. Nade goes through. No damage really onto Shazam on the back of it. He spotted one out in CT, and now he knows where the other is. Has the info to play with. He knows exactly where both are. Shazam spotted out up on top of the bomb site, but the shot's not connecting early on, and Shazam's eventually going to be able to work it alongside his teammates. That puts us 9-2, and complexity finally with 1 on the board. But here's the problem. eUnited have got the cash. They're going to reinvest. They're looking fiscally fit. But if they lose this round, that's where complexity get to bring themselves up to a 9-4 scoreline before another full buy comes through.
Yeah, and even if complexity lose this round, they'd still be able to buy. Of course, they can't really afford to lose it, though, because they do need to start picking up some rounds. And even then, it wouldn't be perfect unless they were to get the bomb plant. So either way, complexity are in a position here where they need to keep building up those rounds. Otherwise, it is going to get out of control. Def just about survives due to the fact he was jumping right there. The op bullet connecting against his legs drops him down very low on health, but he will remain alive, at least for the moment. As complexity, unfortunately, what they were looking for early on was some mid-control. For the moment, they have been denied that. They've had to slow things down a little bit. And even with that, eUnited aren't really facing that anymore. They did just show a bit of aggression initially. So complexity, they do want to eventually try and work their way out to take that control. It is pretty much a necessity. They're sending a couple players out through underpass as well, just in case anyone remained aggressive.
Oh, straight up through connector as well. Sick is up close. Food expects it though, drops a Molotov to force him back. Nade as well. Actually doesn't do that much damage. Sick makes it out of there alive. 100 HP. Eventually pushes through as well. Takes down Food. Okay, that's a decent opening to work with. The only remaining A defenders are in CT. There's 2 of them there. And compLexity could have this mapped out for them as a easy bomb plan secured. That opens it up for ramp. It opens it up for Palace, for connector as well. Well, with Def falling, it looks a little bit worse, but still, the post plan positions should be perfect for compLexity to work this from.
Yeah, that double up being saved over. Probably the best thing they could be hoping for. Even then, that's not going to really be allowed too easily. Sick up close. They do have some sort of an inkling about it. Cooper does at least, and we'll end up connecting it towards the shoulder right there, which should allow for them actually to carry these weapons over now. They're just going to try and sit in the CT spawn, not going to be moving any further. And of course, compLexity not really too eager to hunt it down themselves. Want to keep a little bit of money if possible, which they will be able to do so. With the double up being saved over, we may see the reinvestment coming through, because Moose could drop a weapon, Cooper could drop over, well, Moose rather could drop a rifle. Cooper could also drop a rifle, but it would have to be a FAMAS or else maybe some SMGs. Food has that up. Moose already just bought himself up a rifle and gave the op over, so it is going to be the full buy, of course, but a little bit more limited than they would hope for it to be, but it's still decent. It's definitely still one that they can make work. It'll be interesting to see what they do with this double op setup, if they maybe try and get a little bit more aggressive on that mid control even. Or maybe push one in towards an aggressive push on A, maybe in towards the B apartments. Just so many different places you can use these ops. Also pushing up through short, or making that window jump over towards short. Let's see, the pause has been removed, and we are going to be getting back into the action now. compLexity up to 3. Can they keep this up? If they're able to actually win out this gun round, then there's a very high probability that they bring it up to 5 here on the D side, and then have the potential to take 6.
So Obo's actually died 4 times to open it up, which is a little bit unfortunate. It feels like he's having really little early round impact just because he's being picked off, whether it's by his teammates or by others, quite frequently. As compLexity lose a player there, Sick falls early to the underpass aggression that came through from Food. eUnited get an advantage to work with. You take a look at what they decide to do with this man advantage. They actually stack a lot of players over towards B, and eventually with Food sitting in there on the AWP holding the longer range angle, the rotation comes through. As both Moose and Marky rotate to A to hold this down alongside Cooper and Vanity, it's actually going to be Food that gets tested. Now, Cooper is in position to watch the cross on mid, but a smoke down means that he has no access to watch short for his teammate. He's also the second rotator coming towards the bomb site, so they're going to have 2 AWPs to push back this this offense from compLexity alongside Moose. He's the only M4 that's anywhere nearby, and as Food falls, the long-range engagement falls down to Moose on the M4, picks up 1, but the trades are through, and Cooper on the op can't watch all those angles that he had to peek into. So a man advantage now to play with for eUnited, or for compLexity rather, as eUnited have got themselves a UMP even on the retake, which isn't ideal, especially coming through short.
It seems like they might be forced to save once again for, I believe, the 3rd round in a row now. That'll be. It is pretty much the only option, unless they were to find the frag extremely quickly to actually initiate that retake. And of course, with the op in play, it's just not really a worthwhile gamble, in all honesty. Vanity maybe hoping he'll be able to pick up a rifle on the exit, but compLexity taking the safe route. They know that the apartment should be clear. They're going to go ahead and exit together. Going into this next round now, though, I'd imagine that it probably will just be that oppo. Vanity actually did get an AK, so they have an AK as well to work with, but they still can't really buy up around it. Marky could drop a rifle, but I don't know if it'd be worthwhile. I think given that 5th over and then just trying to take 10 at the halftime is probably the better option for eUnited. The op has been gifted over to Cooper, I believe. Ends up in the hands of Vanity, actually, for now. So I guess Marky and Vanity just wanted to swap weapons, both of those players being the ones that had the Kevlar. Oh, and a very quick play coming in. Food is going to have a lot of pressure here with just a deagle to hold down the A-bomb site. Does at least manage to find one before he gets traded from Ricky, who peeks in from Palace, but there we go. The op going to be given a bit of a chance there. Ricky trying to cross over, gets eliminated very quickly, and now there's actually a man advantage for eUnited to work with. The bomb should go down as no one looks to try and contest it from the CT side, but it certainly is still around that they can make work, considering they do also have 2 defuse kits and the smoke to work with. Sick getting aggressive, doesn't actually check up close. Cooper on the USB takes one, but Obo begins to return. A couple of headshots being found. Actually clears out that CT spawn.
Obo playing as the savior of the round. We're into a 2v2, very limited on time. Shazam takes down Marky, but there's no escape for Vanity. He'd already jumped down the ladder, so Obo's able to pick him off as well, finding a third and looking to be back on form. As soon as he's not picked off at the very beginning of a round, he's able to get that impact on a little bit later on. Now 9-5, we're seeing the step-ups coming through from Obo. We're seeing Shazam do a little better on the AWP, but Ricky is really the surprising factor. He's been pretty impactful in a lot of these rounds that they've been winning. And to see him start to perform in there, it's inspired everybody. Now they're playing like a team, playing beautifully. Looking over towards the B bomb site. Now they've been rushed here before, cut off by Molotovs and picked apart. It's not to happen as Marky throwing a nade is taken down, checking up close as well, efficiently clearing a 6 found 2. Vanity eventually pulls it back, but as he pushes forward, he's being watched. Obo's ready for that push. And very aggressive without the support of his teammates. Now it's into a 2v4 as no trades were possible.
Yeah, and Def actually just finds food coming into the smoke as well. So it's all on Cooper. Gets one, but again, dreaded out. Def there ready for it. As compLexity will end up actually taking themselves 6 rounds at the half time. After being down 9-1, they take 5 rounds in a row on that B side to recover what was looking to be a very, very dire position for them to be in. Instead now, that's certainly a half that they can actually be happy with. If they come into the second half as well and pick up that pistol, then suddenly it's a very close game. Again, of course, a reminder, this is the map choice of compLexity, so heading on to the CT side, we would expect them to be doing fairly well. The only issue is, of course, Mirage is a map that pretty much anyone at this point can play, and as we said, eUnited are definitely capable. Even if they struggled a bit towards the end of that CT side, it'll be interesting to see what they will do now as they swap over to the offense.
I sneezed as you said that, Dean. It sounded like you said, you and I are certainly capable of Mirage. I was like, oh, are we? Sub us in? I'm ready, coach.
Nah, I'm not.
I don't know how to play Mirage, dude.
I like how down the bottom left, instead of eUnited, it says eUniteds. So you know when it pops up the score, as you're going into the second half?
Oh, I've got chat turned off.
Oh, you have it turned off?
Oh,
okay.
Well, you know, we can't show it on stream. We've had some interesting comments made before.
I'm sure you have. That's why the voice has to be off as well.
Absolutely. You do Russian Counter-Strike with voice enabled. It gets fun. So what's going to get fun as well is the pistol, as eUnited are just running towards B. They do not care. Straight blitzing towards compLexity as Ricky's going to be finding the opening. Trades go down straight away. Marky keeps on going. The heads seem to just be magnetic for his bullets. As he swings out for even more, Def goes down. Marky's having a hell of a day with that Glock. As Obo and Sick are the last 2 players alive. Now, Obo's one of the guys you want in these clutch situations. Moving in, there's Vanity taken down. Long range, that's going to favor the USP. And it's only a man disadvantage to work with. This is definitely recoverable, so eUnited still need to be careful.
Yeah, is Food actually going to go ahead and shut down Sick, though, so begins to look a little bit more awkward. Marky even comes in then to take himself a 4th headshot to go ahead and close out that pistol round in favor of eUnited. A 10-6 lead now going in their favor as they do reach double digits heading into the second half to start it off. But of course, compLexity again going to look to come through with a force by couple scouts, couple deagles, and a CZ. In terms of utility, all they have is 1 smoke and 1 flash that, of course, is in the possession of Sick. And that's going to be used pretty quickly. That flash at least thrown over mid, of course, allowing for those scouts, I believe, both to actually peek in. That's an interesting, I guess, way to put it. Having the 2 scouts in windows, basically 1 up. But let's see, because Vanity, having rushed down to B already, does open it up with that Mac-10, traded back by Shazam. But they still have control of the bomb site. They just need to make sure they don't get picked off by this scout, which is actually continuing to put through damage. This could get dangerous.
Could indeed. Well, I mean, look, for compLexity trying to go out for this retake, they really need the short player here, Def, coming in with the scout to get some damage done from afar when he closes it up. Well, he won't be able to do anything, but he's not even able to close it up as he's taken down by the Krieg on long range, 6 last alive. And I think it's time to just bail out of here. Try to save over whatever you can. He's picked up a scout. It's not much, and it won't even be possible, to be honest. He's not expecting a flank from Moose, who catches him completely off guard. But even if he made it out with the scout, it could have done something for them and would certainly make the USPs a little bit more viable. But failing that, we're talking about just a couple upgraded pistols here, some utility. And actually, as they don't upgrade anything, I think it's just going to be a straight rush. They got to push as a team. Def's there with the flashbangs. He'll pop one on ramp, and they'll just barrel towards it, I guess. There we go. This could actually work out. There's 2 players here. They're going to be flashbanged as well. SMG in play. The second flash goes deep. And unfortunately, up close, Cooper wasn't blinded. If the second one went into ramp, could have been much different, but he assumed that the first one had pushed them back. Unfortunate, but Cooper comes out on top, saves the team from any awkward deaths really coming through. And now eUnited up 12-6. compLexity have one last chance by with the double op setup, and Riccio taking that secondary op glass cannon, which is a brave call.
Yeah, but he is a very capable opper, of course, so it'll be exciting to see what he's going to be able to get done here on the CT side. And I mean, it's not like they have a lot of room to work with, so if this double op setup is something they want to get out, I think going for right now is definitely something that they do need to do. But of course, the pause still in play for the moment as discussion comes through. United going to be keeping that Mac 10 in play in the hands of Vanity, but they of course have plenty of money in the reserve, so it is a bit of a bonus approach. Cooper as well actually keeping that UMP. The only issue is for compLexity, even if they win this round, then United will be buying up again into the following. So compLexity ideally need to take this one cleanly so that they can keep themselves a little bit of money, because they will have to reinvest into this next round, of course, if they end up losing anyone. And ideally they don't want to allow for their economy to remain low. But here we go, getting back into the action now. 12-6 is the scoreline. eUnited, again, a reminder for anyone who wasn't here during map 1, they did pick up that victory to take a 16-13 if I remember correctly. Back on Nuke, of course it was. Look at this though, Vanity with that Mac 10 trying to charge out towards B on his own, just selling a little bit of a fake. But they did spot him jumping back though, so they should now know that that's the case. Food though, still able to catch Sictor with a very quick trade, but it was Marky who went down early on. A big name to lose, of course, as he's been performing quite well.
Moose. Oh no, Moose. He catches Shazam off, but he's not able to get the kill. Now peeked out, Obo manages to find the frag, and whilst that would have been a trade, ooh, Shazam gets lit down to 24 by the molly. It would have been a trade, but instead it's a man advantage turned into 2 with Obo's frag onto Cooper. Oh, the molly out as well. Food's being spotted. The tap goes in. Shazam is out of here. They know there's one towards Underwood or around that area as Obo just jumps up on top of the ladder. eUnited decide they don't want to be a part of this engagement, knowing there's at least 2 players here. They back off on ramp, faking out that they're going to make their way towards B. Def pushes towards top mid, but he won't quite be here in time to spot them going through B apartments if they did. So he has to rotate to B, really, to ensure they don't get a bomb plant. Obo finds the duel to Vanity and wins it out as well. That's the 3rd fight he's gone into, one of which he caught the player off guard, but the last 2 kills, each was aware of his position, at least to some extent. Staring at it.
Yeah, no, it's just a little bit awkward there. If Moose had found that frag onto the player over towards the ticket booth, then they would have been able to push forward. There would have been Obo just kind of stuck in behind triple and a lot of trouble, and that round really could have went differently. But of course, as I said, eUnited even losing that round, they are able to rebuy in. And it's surprising that they've gone for a double op setup here on the T side. That is not something that you see very often. Let's see if it's going to actually work out for them. You see Shazam with his op, of course, looking to try and contest mid. Flashed off at the angle and seemingly just going to go ahead and hold it a little bit more passively now from short as he spots Delpan. Oh, but that is ballsy there from Sick to take that peek on ramp. It does work in his favor, though.
compLexity trying to buy their way back into the game. Look at the economy of the T's. This is a really important round for compLexity to win. They can bring it across the line. Well, more particularly if they can stop them from actually getting a bomb plant. Because if a plant goes down, United could be tempted into taking somewhat of a force. Smoke don't work out too well for the CTs. But luckily, nobody's peeking it. So United gain the information. No one's playing aggressive there, but it's not too much to work with. They'll eventually start to push on forward. Bomb still sitting towards the back of B. Flash is going over there for Vanity, as he's just going to bail on back and rotate around. Marky has to find kills here. If he falls straight away, this could be really awkward and let down to 6 HP and taken down immediately afterwards. At least 1 frag goes through for Cooper there. With an AWP, he'll deter the player on stairs from peeking, in theory. But Sick doesn't care. He just goes straight up and takes the fight. Cooper being spotted dropping down towards the site. They now know that's going to come through, but Cooper takes sick. He was trying to stop the other player coming out of Palace, but it doesn't work out. Now you're into a 2v3, a much more winnable situation for eUnited. AK in the hands of Vanity takes down Shazam. This is starting to look better by the second. Smoke down to the cross as well, just to make it a little bit more obscure as to where Vanity's playing from. And it's up on top of the box. He catches the angle, takes down Def. It's all onto Ricky. He's been playing pretty well in this series so far, but he has dropped off on the CT side in performance, and he's dropped off in terms of life. Nasty. Vanity just tapping away and finding the round with a 3K, 13-7. What an important round for eUnited. Not only getting the bomb plant, but compLexity not being able to win out that retake. It was so well played, not just by Vanity, but Cooper as well in the AWP, taking the stairs player and allowing Vanity to safely get that bomb down without worrying about too much of a duel as he crossed over.
It's just a difficult round for compLexity to lose. It puts them against the wall right now, because they're going to be coming into this with just some pistols, Kevlar into a couple of players, so not really much of a chance of them winning this round. I mean, there's always a small chance it can happen. After all, as I've said before, it is CSGO. It can be a crazy game indeed, but on paper, this should be eUnited having a relatively easy round win. If they can do so cleanly as well to build up a little bit of money and ensure that they have a buy in the reserve, that would be very nice for them. That 14-7 lead is quite likely. Looking for the mid control early on, having those rifles, of course, and realizing that they're up against a much weaker investment for compLexity. But they do need to be careful, though, because I believe that's a couple of players pushed up through the underpass. Potentially could catch these players in the apartments off guard, but I believe it is being watched for the moment. And, of course, already Marky having found the headshot over towards B does give them that man advantage to work with. And probably they're just going to try and split in now, because a couple of players already finding some control on short.
Taps from Ricky take down Moose into a 4v4. AK retrieved by Marky. He's just going to make sure the weapons are not making their way into the hands of the CTs. Bomb plant goes down here for Vanity. And so compLexity, although they've got a kill, there's no weapon retrievable all too easily. Cooper's forced off the angle. There's an AK up there, but he's very much isolated going for the fights. This could work out for compLexity if the situations evolve the right way. Flashbang from Marky, who's just 2 HP. Wise decision to drop the AK first. Now he sits down there. Even if they kill him, there's no chance of them finding a free AK-47. He's being spammed away as well. Sick down to 12 HP. And if they just sit here, Marky's going to be forced to take a fight. Eventually, nade goes through. Marky falls. And the idea here, Ricky's probably going to run up to try and get that AK, but it's dropped down below. And with how far he has to fall back, I don't know if he can make it in time. Starts the run to see if he can get there. He thinks there's an AK somewhere here, but again, really well handled by eUnited to just throw those AKs out of play so that there was no chance of compLexity saving them forward.
Yeah, this is potentially the last full buy here, though, from compLexity. If this one doesn't work out, then map point and series point, of course, for eUnited, as they will be looking to take themselves on into the final tier of this closed qualifier. This has to happen for compLexity, and they need to have pretty much a flawless CT side from this point forward. If they lose even one round, then the best that they can do is overtime. And of course, that would be a very long road ahead of them, not only having to take it into overtime, but also then force it onto map number 3. As again, early on, we will see eUnited being able to find that mid-control and opening frag being found. Def is able to bounce, though, from short around that smoke, and in the meantime, Shazam also taking one down elsewhere. It does end up in a 3-on-3 now, as we do see a commitment looking to try and come in towards this A-bomb site for eUnited. Still a bit of utility to work with as well.
Moose down to 7 HP. Food's down on 2 as well. This is a hard round to recover. Oh. But what is that for Moose? He actually got Shazam? That was the luckiest thing I think I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, it did work. The issue is he's now alone on 7 health still against Ricky, and the bomb has been dropped in the open. So even with those 2 frags coming through, it may not work. He catches Ricky off guard. There's no way he could have got back to ramp that quickly, so I'm not sure why he's focusing on it already.
Like, what is that round from Moose, man? How does he, like, I don't think he even realized he got Shazam there. Like, he was trying to spray down the first guy. Shazam just peeked a pixel of his head up too high and was just caught in the crossfire. I mean, winning at that 1v1 is bizarre enough, but the 2 kills that went down first when he was on, like, 3 HP, that's crazy. 15-7, that is a heartbreaking loss for compLexity there. What do you say right now? I think that the problem is as well, Ricky's been cooling down on the CT side, and that's got to push you over the edge. Because you bet that as soon as he died, he realized there's no way that guy could have been ramp yet. And that hits you. Like, mentally, it's hard to keep yourself in it, giving them a match point like that.
8 rounds in a row now is what they need just to take it into overtime. And of course, the first of those rounds that they're going to have to pick up is off the back of a pretty weak bye. We can see what they have right now. 2 M4s, a FAMAS, a UMP, and an MP9. Very limited utility, and also no defuse kit if it does end up coming down to a retake. So this is going to be an extremely tough map from this point forward for compLexity, if they can even keep themselves alive. Moves again in towards Palace. Of course, we've seen him come out with a massively heroic play in that previous round, rather. I don't think they'd allow for that to happen once again. Oh, but look at this flank. Sick. It is being watched. That's the issue. When MP9 isn't the weapon you want to have at this range, but he's making it work. Food goes down. Def actually finds Cooper as well, rather, down towards the bottom of mid. So suddenly it becomes a very winnable position. The only issue for Obo and Sick is right now they were kind of hugging each other in a corner. That could have been dangerous.
Oh, that's a nice flashbang actually going through, but Obo's still in position to help his teammate out a little bit and just delete everybody. USP going to be deployed? Surely not. As Marky at least takes him down. That could be the only kill for the round. Well, 6 low as well if he goes out for the peek, but I think they're going to just pincer him. There you go. Everybody peeking. They had one in window as well. I think it was Shazam was up in the window. There's absolutely no chance. 3 players swinging into him. 15-8. eUnited, though, able to get a... they're able to get a buy out of most players. Vanity's already forced up a deagle, so obviously that's what they're going to go for with 3 AKs, and then Marky coming in on a deagle as well. Oh, no. Marky buy a Mac 10 and drop it to Vanity? He took a deagle for himself. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, Marky's been doing pretty good with those pistols, so maybe the deagle is a weapon that right now he's feeling confident with. Vanity also with that Mac 10 has been pretty solid on the entry frags, and again, he's going to be the man, of course, to go forward. Initially, the issue is the smoke, even though it's down. Shazam got vision before it bloomed completely. Able to spam away, drops food, does some extra damage, and right now the CTs are just cleaning this one up. Moose only finding 1 frag for his efforts. They're flying in through the smoke. As it's all left onto Marky. He has at least got himself an AK, but he's also 4 opponents to face off against. Creeped up close on triple. I mean, there is a player right beside him. There's 1 on the ticket booth, 1 on steps, and 1 in jungle. So that's the issue. Even if he gets 1, then the rest of the players will be ready to pounce for the trade. And either way, Def just finishes it off. 6 rounds now in the difference. It's the start of a potential comeback here from compLexity. compLexity, they should at least be finding double digits. Because, of course, this round right now for eUnited is going to have to be the eco. And I don't even think they'll be allowed to really upgrade pistols, averaging just under $2,000. Or rather, just around $2,000. They do end up getting the AP250 up to be upgraded for Cooper, but that's it.
Indeed, that has to just be the weaker buy for them. And by weaker buy, I mean $300. They got a P250 out. That's it. Surprised to see them actually spreading out and playing like what could definitely be looked at as a buy round in terms of the setup if you just looked at the map and not what they have. 1 through underpass, 2 coming top mid, late underpass player coming in as well, and 1 ramp. Very spread out for Glocks for the most part with 1 P250. Generally that's where you see players, or teams rather, group up and just straight rush a part of the map. Fair enough. And with 1 round left to go, a full investment comes in for eUnited. They're on the verge. compLexity have got, what, 2 full buys and 1 weaker investment from eUnited to beat off. It's not the worst.
It's certainly doable. They are, of course, also on the CT side of a CT-sided map. But it looks like eUnited just want to actually bring up the pace right now. They're not going to be sitting back and going for another slow default, which they've been getting picked apart on. But even now, it could still be a little bit awkward because Def ends up standing tall and taking 2 with him before he's sent to the grave. Keeps it in the 3-on-3 now. As the bomb eventually goes down for eUnited. Smokes in place. Could actually allow for compLexity to creep out and get up close, which is exactly what they're going to go for. Sick burns one alive. And Cooper now is going to have to be so massive from this position. He has the assistance of Moose, who takes one. Oboe being spotted, and now it's all onto Sick. 1 versus 2. The headshot comes true, and that's going to be it. 16-10 is the final scoreline here, as we do see eUnited taking